Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 61 Korok seeds here in the Sky Islands in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Our first seed is going to be found on the far northwestern side of the Great Sky Islands. You guys can see our location here. And once you make it up here, you're going to see by the structures in the corner, we're going to have a little cluster of leaves that's traveling around. All we need to do is interact with those leaves. The Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 1. Number 2 is also going to be on the northwestern side of the Great Sky Islands. You'll see this giant pond right here next to our marker. The Korok seed is going to be in the pond. There's going to be a giant rock in the water with a smaller rock up on the top. Now you can swim over to it or you can use Ultra Hand to lift the rock up. But either way, once you do, you'll get seed number 2. Numbers 3 and 4 are going to be found on the far western side of the Great Sky Islands. We're going to be right here next to the river. And once you get over here, you'll find this giant rock sticking up next to our beam that goes across to the other island. On top of that rock is going to be our Korok. And when you interact with him, you'll see that we need to take him to the smaller island that's across. Now, there's obviously a couple ways we can get over there. One, you can make yourself an airplane. However, it is so close that when you take off with the airplane, there's a good chance that you overshoot and end up having to turn around, and it can be kind of complicated. So another thing you can do is cut down some trees to use 2 logs and the 2 hooks that are here to make yourself a little vehicle to get down the rail. And then once you get down here, just drop him off with his buddy, interact, and we'll be able to get our next 2 seeds. Number 5 is going to be found on the far southwestern side of the Great Sky Islands. You can see that we're going to be right over here by these trees just south of the shrine. And you'll see there's one giant fat tree up on the hill that we're going to climb up on top of, which is going to have a small rock on the top. Go ahead and pick up that small rock. And once you do, the Korok will appear and give us seed number 5. Number 6 is going to be found on the far southwestern side of the Great Sky Islands. You'll see on your map here we have a little hill in this area and we want to climb on top of that. It's basically just going to be a giant tree stump. We're going to climb inside of that tree stump, and when you get inside, you're going to find a pile of leaves. Either hit those with a sword or burn them, and then pick up the small rock that's underneath. And once you do, we'll get seed number 6. Number 7 is going to be found inside the Room of Awakening, which is the spawn room. So the easiest way is just to fast travel there. Once you get here, just turn yourself around and go into this little back room. And underneath the tree roots, you're going to have a little cluster of leaves that spawn. Interact with those and you'll get seed number 7. Number 8 is also going to be found on the far southern side of the Great Sky Islands, except this one's going to be on the very top up here by the tree trunk. You guys will see a massive tree trunk up here. Just climb up to the top, and what we want to do is jump over to the lily pad that's in the middle, and once you get up on it, a cluster of leaves will spawn that we can interact with, and once you do, we'll get seed number 8. Number 9 is going to be found pretty much right in the middle of the Great Sky Islands, and this one is separated from the rest. You'll see there's pretty much just a circle with a pond in the middle, and as you fly down to this thing, you guys will see a circle of lily pads in the middle of that pond. All we need to do is dive right through the middle of those lily pads and we'll get seed number 9. Number 10 is also going to be found towards the middle of the islands. You want to go to the smaller island that's just south of what looks like a giant lake. And when you're flying in, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right here is the island with the giant lake. We're going to land on the smaller one that's just below it down here. There'll be a tree surrounded by small rocks. We need to add a rock that is missing. So when we drop down, you'll see there's an empty space. The rock that's missing is literally right beside it. It'll be pretty hard to miss. Go ahead and pick that thing up, bring it over, drop it into place. Once you do, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 10. Number 11 is going to be found pretty close to the middle of the Great Sky Islands. You can see our location. We're actually going to be on the main island here. We're not going to be on any of the ones that are above or below, but you'll see our location. We can see the water from here. If you turn around up on this ledge, there's going to be a hole with some rocks in it. What you can do is fuse this rock that's right here next to it to one of your weapons, and then all we need to do is smash those rocks and fall down in that hole. And once you drop down, just turn around and you're going to find a little balloon in this corner. Hit that balloon with an arrow, and once you do, the Korok will pop up and we'll get seed number 11. For number 12, we're going to head to the southeastern side of the Great Sky Islands, and we're going to be on what looks like a bridge on your map here. And if you go to the end of that, there's going to be a puzzle that we need to solve. Now, this puzzle is actually extremely easy. The piece is found right next to it, and we just need to rotate this thing around to fit the bottom right corner. And once you've got this thing in place, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 12. Numbers 13 and 14 are going to be found together on the southern side of the Great Sky Islands. We're actually going to be right next to the Forge Construct. And once you get down here, you'll find our little Korok hanging out next to the pieces of wood on the ground. We're going to bring him over here to the rail system, and you can grab a minecart that's nearby and throw a fan on it and put it on the rail. we can throw our little Korok buddy inside, hop on top and hit the fan, and that'll get us across. You can also make yourself an airplane if you have the materials and want to do so. But once we get over here, just go ahead and pick up the little Korok buddy out of the rail or out of the minecart and then bring him right over here to the campsite, interact, and once you do, we'll get our next 2 seeds. Number 15 is going to be found on the far eastern side of the Great Sky Islands, and you can see the Korok indicator. We want to go up on this little hilltop. We're going to be just east of the shrine. To get up here, we can just come over and ascend through this piece of wood. And once you're up top, you'll find the giant tree trunk that we need to get on top of. So we can go inside and you can ascend, or you can just come to the side and climb to the top. But once you get up here, we're going to have a circle of rocks with one missing. The one that's missing is literally right here beside it. Not too hard at all. Let's go ahead and pick that thing up, drop it into place. And once you do, we'll get seed number 15. Number 16 is going to be found on the far southeastern side of the Great Sky Islands on top of this hill right here. Once you make it over here, you'll find a dandelion up on the rock. Go ahead and hit that dandelion, and as long as you catch it before it touches the ground, just like this, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 16. Number 17 is going to be found on the far southeastern side of the Great Sky Islands, and we're not actually going to be on top of this mountain here. We're going to be underneath, so you can jump off the side and fly under. You'll see here what it looks like when you get down here. But once you get over here, there's some stairs that lead up to a puzzle that's pretty easy to find. It's out in the open, and it's super easy to solve, as all we need to do is pick up the piece, make it look like a cross, and we'll be able to fit it right here into the rectangle. And once you do, we'll get seed number 17. Number 18 is going to be found close to the middle of the Great Sky Islands. You'll see on our map here, we're going to be just below this maze-looking structure on your map. And once you get down here, we're going to go right over here in between the stone walls where the tree is. And you'll see on the ground inside, there's going to be a yellow flower. We're just going to play a quick game of follow the flower, as once we grab that one, we're then going to have to grab a couple more within this wall. So we've got another one here. We're going to climb up on the rock here. The next one's on the rock across from us. So we can go over and get this one. And then the final flower will be right here in front of us, and that'll give us seed number 18. Number 19 is going to be found just underneath the Temple of Time on the Great Sky Islands. You can see we're going to be in the back. And when you get all the way to the back side, you'll see there's going to be one column here that has a piece of wood underneath it. So we can go out in the water and climb up on this structure. And if we look up, we'll be able to ascend through that piece of wood. We'll go ahead and ascend through that piece of wood up to the top of the stairs at the Temple of Time. And once you get up top, the Korok will appear and give us seed number 19. Number 20 is going to be found on the southeastern side of Bravery Island. You can see our location here. And once you make it up here, we're just going to jump across to the smaller island that's here beside it. And there's going to be a piece of wood we can step on. That's going to spawn the Korok. We just need to chase after them and hit the interact button. And once we do, we'll get seed number 20. Number 21 is going to be found on the far northern side of the North Hyrule Sky Archipelago. We're going to be right over here next to the shrine. And once you're up here, we want to rotate our little catapult to where it's facing the small island with the single tree on the top. So you can see it out there. And once you rotate this thing around, just hop on. We're going to launch ourselves up. And if you fly over to the right side of the island, you'll see a piece of wood on the side. We just need to grab onto that. So we'll grab on, climb up, and once you're on it, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 21. Number 22 is going to be found over at the Lomé Sky Labyrinth. We're going to be on the top on the far northeastern side. And you're going to find a piece of wood up here. When you walk over it, it'll spawn the Korok. Dive down after it and interact. And once you do, you'll get seed number 22. Number 23 is located over at the North Lomé Castle top floor. We're going to be on top once again on the far eastern corner. And again, we're going to find a piece of wood. We're just going to walk over that, chase the Korok, and when we catch up with them, interact. And as soon as you're able to actually time it properly and interact with the Korok, just like this, the Korok will pop up and we'll get seed number 23. Number 24 is going to be found up at the East Hebra Sky Archipelago. We're going to start at the shrine location and we're going to work our way up to the catapult. So when you get over to the catapult, we're going to rotate this thing around to face the small island with the single tree up top. Then we're just going to hop on, fly across, and if you fly over here to the left side, you'll see a piece of wood on the side of the rock. All we need to do is climb onto that piece of wood, wait a second, and once the Korok pops up, we'll get seed number 24. Number 25 is also in the East Hebra Sky Archipelago, except this one's on the northern island. You can again use the catapult to get up here. There's going to be 2 tree stumps. If we go inside of one, you'll find a yellow flower, and we're just going to follow this flower over to the other tree stump. So you'll see that it'll come outside, work its way over, and then the last flower is inside this tree stump. And once you grab it, you'll get seed number 25. Number 26 is in the South Eldon Sky Archipelago in the northwestern island. You can see our location here. And once you make it up top, we're just going to go to the end of the rails that go off the side. And if you look down, you'll find an acorn hanging from the rail. Go ahead and hit that acorn with an arrow. And once you do, that'll give us seed number 26. Number 27 is in the South Eldon Sky Archipelago, and this is going to be on the island that has the shrine on it. And once you make it up here, we're going to angle the catapult towards the small island up there with a single tree on it. We're going to fly our way up. And if we come over here to the left side, you guys are going to see a piece of wood on the side. Once again, we just need to grab onto that. And once we do, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 27. Number 28 is going to be found all the way over at the Sky Mine, and we're going to be on the island with the shrine. Work your way to the middle, and we're going to angle the catapult at the island that's directly above us. You guys can see that island here. And once we launch, you'll see a really small island above this one. So this one right over here, we're going to fly to this small rock that's floating, and you're going to see a piece of wood that's up here on the ledge. When we walk over this, it's going to spawn a target. So make sure that from the wood you jump off, pull your glider, and we're going to fly all the way back over to this island. And we just need to land on that target without touching the ground. And if you're able to do so successfully, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 28. Number 29 is over at the Sakala Sky Archipelago. We're going to be on the island with the shrine and work your way to the middle where the catapult is. We're going to launch ourselves over to the small island with, again, one single tree on it. And once you get over here, you'll see a piece of wood on the back side of the rock. Stand over top of it, it'll spawn the Korok, chase it down and interact, and once you do, you'll get seed number 29. For number 30, we're going to head over to the water temple, and you want to just go ahead and take the water temple entrance fast travel. And once you spawn up here, we're going to take a right, and we're just going to come over here to the ledge and jump off. And essentially, as you're diving down, you'll find a couple of these super small islands right here in front of us, or whatever you want to call these. But as you continuously dive down, you're going to come across a bigger island with a really small floating rock beside it that has a tree on it. This is where we want to be. So we're going to fly right over here to the small rock that has the tree. And as you get closer, you'll start to see that it has a piece of wood on the edge. We're just going to walk over that piece of wood, chase the Korok, catch up and interact, and once we do, we'll get seed number 30. Number 31 is also going to be over by the water temple. This one will be closer to where it says Wellspring Island. You can see this long walkway, and you want to come right here to this location at the elbow, and there's going to be a hole that you can actually drop down in. As you fall down to the next level, you'll see a cluster of leaves spawn in and start traveling around that circle. Catch up to those leaves and interact, and once you do, you'll get seed number 31. Number 32 is also up at the water temple. When you work your way up here, you want to go towards the middle, right where this ledge is. You guys can see it's right above where the waterfall is located. And once you get over here, we're actually going to jump off and fly down to where you see this platform. When you get near the platform, pull your glider and fly underneath it right here on this ledge. You're going to find a pinwheel. When you get close to it, it's going to spawn 3 balloons. When you hit all 3 of those balloons, the Korok will appear and give us seed number 32. Number 33 is over in the South Lanayru Sky Archipelago on the far eastern island. Once you're up top here, you're going to find some tree stumps. On the left over here is going to be a pinwheel. When you jump inside, turn around, and you're going to have 3 balloons that have spawned that you need to hit. One is in the tree stump, and the other 2 will be traveling around. And once you hit all 3 of them, you'll get seed number 33. Number 34 is also in the South Lanayru Sky Archipelago. This one will be over by the shrine. And if you work your way to the middle where the catapult is, you just need to aim this thing toward the small island that's up there by itself. And once you line it up, you can launch yourself across. We'll fly on over, and you'll see the piece of wood in the back. We're just going to go step on that. That'll spawn the Korok. We can chase the Korok and interact, and once we do, we'll get seed number 34. Number 35 is over in the South Lanayru Sky Archipelago, except this time we're going to be on the eastern side of the circular island. And once you get up here, you guys will see this really small rock that's right over here next to it. We're just going to fly our way across, climb up to the top. You'll see a piece of wood. That'll spawn our Korok. We're just going to chase that guy and interact, and that'll give us seed number 35. Number 36 is going to be found over in the North Nucluda Sky Archipelago on the far northernmost island. You can see a small rock floating off the side. We're going to jump over to that small rock, and when you climb up, you're going to find a piece of wood on the edge. Walk over that, chase the Korok, and interact, and once you do, you'll get seed number 36. Number 37 is going to be found over in the Zonite Forge Island. You guys can see our exact location. There's actually a dotted triangle on your map, so you can see where you need to go. But we need to complete this rock triangle. The one rock we're missing is going to be up top on the edge, so grab that and drop it down below. And if you're lucky like me, it'll just roll into the corner. and you'll get seed number 37. Number 38 is going to be found on the southeastern side of the Zonite Forge Island. We're going to be on this pillar right here. And once you make it on this pillar, you guys will see on the back is going to be a piece of wood. We're going to walk over that, and it's going to spawn a yellow circle in the pillar below us. We're just going to jump down into that yellow circle. The Korok will appear, and we'll get seed number 38. Number 39 is on the southern side of the Zonite Forge Island. We're going to be inside of this pillar right here on your map. And once you make it over here, you'll find a yellow flower at the bottom. We're just going to play a game of follow the flower all the way up the side of this pillar. So you can jump over to the wall, and if you just continue to follow this flower, it's going to lead you all the way up these rocks until you get to the very top where the final flower will be. Continue to climb up the ledge, the white flower will spawn at the top, and once you get it, we'll get seed number 39. Number 40 is going to be on the northeastern side of the Zonite Forge Island. It's going to be right over where the terminal is located. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and interact with that terminal, and what that's going to do is turn on our little wind tunnels, or whatever you want to call them, that go around the outside of this island. That's going to allow us to get to the top. So once you've interacted with that and it turns them all on, we're just going to come right over here to the right, climb up, and we're just going to fly our way to the top. We'll fly up here and just work our way from pillar to pillar until we reach the very top of the island. And once we get up top, we're just going to fly against this wall, climb up, and we'll ascend so that we can get on the very top. And once you ascend to the very top of the island, you're going to find this giant fat tree. We're just going to climb to the top of the fat tree and pick up the small rock that's up here. And once you do, we'll get seed number 40. Number 41 is going to be found on the far southern side of the Necluda Sky Archipelago. And we're going to be on the island that has the shrine. And if you make your way to the middle where the catapult is, you want to angle this thing facing the island out there that has a single tree on it. We're going to go ahead and fly out toward that island with the tree. And as we get closer, you guys are going to see that we can land in the tree here. And up top is going to be a small rock that we can pick up. Once you pick that up, we'll get seed number 41. Number 42 is also on the southern side of the Necluda Sky Archipelago on the same island with the shrine. We're going to work our way back to that catapult. And we want to get on this little rock that's out here on your map. You can see what it looks like here. Just a rock with a small rock statue up top. But once you line it up, we're going to launch ourselves across. And if you float on over to the right side, you'll see a piece of wood on the side. Just climb up to it. Once you get on it, the Korok will then appear, and that's going to give us seed number 42. Number 43 is over in the West Necluda Sky Archipelago. We're going to be on the island again with the shrine. And if you work your way to the middle where the catapult is, we're going to launch ourselves to this pretty massive island that looks far away. We're going to get as high as we can and pull our glider, and we're going to float all the way over. And even though it looks like we're not going to make it, we'll actually be able to grab onto the bottom part of this island. If you land a little bit lower than I do, you can always climb up, but you want to land right here on this ledge, and we're going to be able to ascend up top onto the island. Now, we're going to have to do this twice, as when we ascend the first time, we'll be inside this little cave. We'll come over to another rock and ascend once again, so we get on the very top. And once you're up top, we're going to have two giant tree stumps. Now, one of these tree stumps is going to have a single rock in it. We're going to pick up the single rock and bring it over to the other one, where we're going to have a rock circle with one rock missing. We're just going to drop this thing into place to complete the circle. And once you do, we'll get seed number 43. Number 44 is also in the West Necluda Sky Archipelago. We're going to head to the same catapult that we just used for our last seed. And this time we're going to angle it toward the small rock that has the rock pillar on the top. You guys can see what it looks like here. And once you launch yourself up to this rock, you'll see we have a piece of wood on the side. We're going to walk over that, and it's going to spawn a target back on the main island. We just need to fly back across and land on it without touching the ground. And if you do so successfully, we'll get seed number 44. Number 45 is going to be found down on Dragon Head Island. And you'll see on your map, there's a really small circle of water here. That's going to be a massive tree stump, and we want to get inside. So if we climb up the side of this tree stump, you'll see that we have a circle of lily pads in there. We're just going to jump and dive in the middle of those. And once you do, we'll get seed number 45. Number 46 is found over in the Thunderhead Isles, and you want to come right to this exact location. This little section here on your map is where you want to be. And once you make it on here, you'll see we have a couple small trees and a big tree. We're going to climb on top of the big tree. And once again, up top, there's going to be a small rock that you can pick up. And once you pick it up, we'll get seed number 46. Number 47 is going to be located down in the Farron Sky Archipelago, and you'll see we want to be on this small island here with the brown square. Now, to get up here, all you want to do is head over to the Poplar Foothills Skyview Tower, and when you launch yourself up, you can easily fly right over here to this little island. But once you're up here, all we need to do is go pick up the small rock that's right in the middle, And once you pick that up, we'll get seed number 47. Number 48 is in the South Hyrule Sky Archipelago. We're going to head to the island that has the shrine and work your way to the middle where we have the catapult. Now, once you make it to the catapult, you want to line it up to this big island that's really far away out there. You guys can see on your screen. And instead of landing on that island, we're going to hang a left and go over here to where we have two smaller islands. And we're going to land on the smaller one that's above the other one. And when you're up here, there's going to be a giant tree stump you can land in. Once you're inside, just hit the leaves and pick up the small rock that's underneath, and that's going to give you seed number 48. For number 49, we're going to head back over to the same island in the South Hyrule Sky Archipelago. We're going to use the catapult again. This time, we're going to angle it toward the small rock with the single tree on the top. And once you launch yourself over, you want to fly over here to the left side. You'll see the piece of wood attached to the side. We're just going to land over here, crawl up on that. And once you do, we're going to get seed number 49. Number 50 is going to be found over in the East Gerudo Sky Archipelago. We want to be on the island with the shrine and make your way over to the catapult. And once again, you're going to line the catapult up toward the small rock with the single tree on the top. We're going to fly up. This time we're going to land on the rock and walk over the piece of wood that's up here. And that's going to spawn a target on this island over here. This one's a little bit more challenging, so be careful. If you fly over here and land on the target without touching the rock, you'll end up getting the Korok to pop up and you'll get seed number 50. Number 51 is found down in the South Lomé Castle top floor. We're going to be on the very top and on the southeastern side. And once you make it up here, just walk over the piece of wood in the corner, chase the Korok and interact with them. And once you do, we'll get seed number 51. Number 52 is going to be found on the island that's just north of the Starview Island. You can see the location here. Now we're going to be starting from the island below it because it can be kind of confusing on how to get up here. You can easily jump your way across to the smaller island below, and all you need to do is get on one of these platforms and use a rocket to get yourself some altitude. And once you're higher up, I don't believe the second rocket's going to work. As you guys can see, it kind of just died out on me when we got into the low gravity. So what you can do is throw the rocket on your shield to get a little bit more height. And once you're up here, what we want to do is fly over to the rock that's hovering above the main island. So you can see it here. We're going to go all the way up here. There's going to be a piece of wood we can walk on, and that's going to spawn a target down on the main island below us. So we can just fly our way across. And if you're able to successfully land on the target, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 52. Number 53 is going to be found on the southwestern side of Courage Island. We're literally going to be standing right where the shrine is. And if you're standing on the shrine location, all you need to do is come over here to the left, and we're going to jump across to this rock that's floating next to the island. We'll climb up top, walk over the piece of wood, which will spawn the Korok, chase him, interact, and that'll give us seed number 53. 54 is on the far western side of the Tabantha Sky Archipelago on this island here. You guys can see you can get over here by flying from the Lightcast Island shrine. But once you make it over here to this island, all we're going to do is jump onto the rock that's floating next to it. When you climb up top, you'll find the piece of wood, walk over it. It's going to spawn a target back on the other island. And we'll just fly across, land on the target, the Korok will appear, and we'll get seed number 54. Number 55 is going to be found on the northwestern side of Lightcast Island. You actually want to come over to the ledge right where this single tree is. And once you're over here, all we're going to do is jump off the side, and you'll see underneath is going to be a really, really small floating rock. We're going to land on that floating rock. And as you get down here, you'll find another piece of wood, walk over that, it'll spawn the Korok, chase down after him and interact. And once you do that, we'll get seed number 55. Number 56 is going to be found right in the middle of Lightcast Island. You can see we're going to be on the very, very top here. So when you make it over here, just climb up on the rocks on the side. And eventually, once you make it to the top, you're going to find another piece of wood that we can walk on. And that's going to spawn a target right here below us at the bottom. Fly your way across and land on the target. And once you successfully do so, you'll get seed number 56. Number 57 is also found in the middle of the Lightcast Island. I'm standing on the southern side just so I can show you guys a better view, but it's going to be at the top of the tower that's on the rock over here. So if you fly over toward the tower and you look straight up, you'll see an acorn hanging at the very top. All we need to do is hit that thing with an arrow that will spawn the Korok and give us seed number 57. 58 is located in the South Hebra Sky Archipelago on this really small island right here. And once you make it up top, if you look above you, there's a giant floating rock. You can put a rocket on your shield to fly straight up, and then we just float our way across. Now, when you stand on this piece of wood, it's going to spawn a target directly below you, so be careful when you jump not to touch the rock. but once you land on the target without touching anything else, you'll get seed number 58. Number 59 is on the northern side of the West Hebra Sky Archipelago on this island here. You'll see on your map you want to be next to these 2 blue circles. And once you're over here, you can throw a rocket on your shield. We just want to float out here to this floating rock right next to the main island. And if you fly around to the back side, you're going to see the piece of wood. We just need to land on that. So you can land on the side, crawl up to it. Once you're on it completely, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 59. For number 60, we're going to head over to the rising island chain. You can see we're going to be right on the ledge here. So if you fast travel to this shrine and just run all the way over here to the ledge where you can jump off, we're then going to just jump off and we're going to fly down to where you see all these super small floating pieces. And you want to go all the way down to the bottom where you see this almost perfect square floating piece that has a piece of wood right in the middle and nothing else. Once you land, walk over that wood, it's going to spawn a yellow circle on the piece that's further out this way. It's easier once you land here to just fly to the left just to make sure that you can actually make it across. But once you're up here, just fly down, land up here, go through the yellow circle, and that's going to give you seed number 60. Our 61st and final seed is going to be found at the rising island chain. All you need to do is fast travel to the shrine that's up here, and once you spawn in, you'll see the giant structure in front of you. We need to get up top, so you can either climb on the sides or put a rocket on your shield, but either way, once you get up here, just pick up the small rock that's in the middle, and you'll get seed number 61. But this is how to find all 61 Korok seeds here in the Sky Islands. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.